Greetings today. We continue our study of the enthroned elders and our study of Revelation as further evidence of the rapture. We need to consider Matthew 22 verses 8 through 14 in this respect. Matthew 22:8 begins, "Then saith he to his servants, The wedding is ready, but they which were bidden were not worthy. Go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as you shall find, bid to the marriage." So those servants went out into the highways and gathered together all, as many as they found, both good and bad, and the wedding was furnished with guests. And when the king came in to see the guest, he saw there a man which had not on a wedding garment. And he saith unto him, Friend, how camest thou in hither, not having a wedding garment? And he was speechless. Then the king said to the servants, Bind him hand and foot, and take him away, and cast him into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. For many are called, but few are chosen. Now this man without a wedding garment was not a lost man. Rather, he was saved because he had exercised faith in God's grace, and he had received the imputed righteousness of Jesus Christ as a gift. This is an inner garment which is given to every man at the point of salvation. However, he was lacking a wedding garment. This is the outer garment. This is the imparted righteousness of Christ in service after salvation. Revelation 21:9 introduces us to the bride, which it says is the city, New Jerusalem, and those who have a part in dwelling in her. Now, we'll develop that more in a few moments. Revelation 21:24 goes on to tell us that there are nations of people who are dwelling outside of the city itself. They're walking in the light of the city, and they're bringing their glory and honor into the city at appointed times. Now, some would have us to believe that these people dwelling outside the city are lost, but they certainly are not unbelievers, because all the unbelievers were dispatched to the lake of fire in Revelation chapter 20 and verse 15. Revelation 24 speaks of believers beginning a reign 1,000 years in length with Christ upon the earth, which again brings us back to the 24 elders. So let's look at the significance of the thrones upon which they sit from Revelation chapter 4 and verse 4. Let us not overlook the fact that these 24 elders are, present tense, sitting upon the 24 thrones. It is the same tense was used in Revelation 4:2, which was translated sat in the King James. The plural is used because the number 24 is plural. 24 elders sitting on 24 thrones. The original text implies an equality. They are sitting just in the same manner as he is sitting. Is this not the exact fulfillment of the promise of Revelation 2:10? Some scholars attempt to make these enthroned elders angels. The most credible argument for angels stands upon the italicized us, which follows the word redeemed in Revelation 5:9. This argument necessitates the angels to be singing about the redeemed, because angels are not redeemed in God's plan. Instead of having the redeemed one themselves singing about their own redemption. While we can see that it is possible for Revelation 5 to mean the four living creatures initialize the process, their declarations and actions being followed by certain declarations and actions of the 24 elders until the completion of the whole creation, becoming involved in the process of praising the great triune God in Revelation 5:13 and 14. Yet such an attempt to enthrone angels and Revelation 4:4 overlooks certain biblical facts. The first is a very clear promise made to 12 of these 24 elders, as it's recorded in Matthew chapter 19, verses 27, 28, and again in Luke 22, 29, and 30. Matthew 19:27 says, "And answered Peter and said unto him, Behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? And Jesus said unto them, Verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel." Again, Luke 22:29. "And I appoint unto you a kingdom, as my Father hath appointed me, that you may eat and drink at my table in the kingdom, and sit on thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel." Now, Revelation 21 describes a city which is none other than the very one that Abraham was looking for, according to Hebrews 11:10. Revelation 21 verses 12 and 13 tell us that the city has 12 gates, 3 on each of its 4 sides, which are inscribed with the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. You'll notice the similarity to the camping pattern around the tabernacle in the Old Testament. Revelation 21:14 declares the city has 12 foundations, which are inscribed with the names of the 12 apostles. Revelation 12:1 supplies a link back to the book of Genesis, chapter 37, verse 9 in particular, where Joseph dreamed a dream about the sun, the moon, and 12 stars. It is stated that this represented Jacob, his wives, and 12 sons. Revelation 12:1 is a clear reference to Israel. Further, we should look back to Genesis 49, where Jacob is blessing his sons before his death in the land of Egypt. Specifically, Genesis 49:16 says, "Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel." Yet some scholars attempt to make Dan, quote, a lost tribe. Some go so far as to say the church is this lost tribe. But Dan is not lost according to Ezekiel 48, verse 1 and verse 32. Dan has a portion in the millennial land, and his name is on one of the gates. While it is true in Revelation 7's list, Dan's name is not present, I should point out that neither is the name Ephraim on that list. Rather, instead, we find the names of Levi and Joseph appearing.